Today we're going to be upgrading the CPU in our ASUS 650 motherboard, currently rocking a Ryzen 7 3700X, which is now beginning to show its age, replacing it with the second fastest CPU this board can handle, the 8-core 16-thread Ryzen 7 5700X3D. Being an X3D chip, it should provide a massive boost to our gaming performance. Now we've left our PC running for a little bit just to warm up that thermal compound to make cooler removal a little bit easier. So firstly, let's remove that power connector from the water block and then turn our attention to the two retaining screws. Now I always like to alternate the loosening of these screws just to even out that pressure on the CPU and indeed the motherboard, but eventually you should be able to loosen them enough to unclip the water block from the motherboard and then lift it away to reveal the old CPU. Next up, we need to remove all of that old thermal compound from the cooler, and for that I'm using these Noctua wipes. Firstly, remove all of the old compound from the underside of the water block, being careful to remove all traces of the old compound, and then dry off with a little bit of kitchen towel. Next, we'll do the same with the CPU. Now, it's always easier to leave the CPU in to do this step, so we're just going to remove all of that thermal compound again and then dry it off with some more kitchen towel. Once done, we should be able to lift up that CPU retention arm and then lift out our old CPU. Put that to one side for safekeeping. Now we're ready to install our brand new 5700X3D. Now first of all, we need to turn the chip over and locate the triangle in the corner and then the corresponding symbol on the socket, and then we should be able to offer up the CPU to the socket and it should just drop in, and then all we need to do is lower that CPU retention arm to lock everything in place. Now we need to reapply some thermal compound. I've gone with Arctic Silver's MX6 for this, and I'm just going to apply a single piece sized amount into the center of the CPU. I know some of you like to make a cross or even spread out the compound, but I find this method has always worked the best for me, because when we reinstall the new cooler, the thermal compound should naturally spread out over the top of the CPU seat spreader as we tighten up the screws. And this is also why we alternate the tightening of the screws to ensure a nice gradual even spread. Now once finger tight, you can reach for a screwdriver just to do a quarter of a turn, just to nip everything up and lock everything in place. Now all we need to do is reattach our cooler's power, and we are now ready for the moment of truth and get everything powered on. Only kidding, of course it's all worked fine, everything is booting up and all looks great. We'll put the CPU through its paces in the coming days, but for now that completes this upgrade to a 5700X3D. Any questions? Let me know down below.